There we go. Okay, we have 2 more projects to get through today. The first one being from the buddy CNR, longtime viewer. They have apparently finally finished their project, so they have that uploaded for me. I don't know if they're actively in the chat right now, but they will get a chance to see this one way or the other. First track is Malicious, and then after we finish this project, CNR said it's about 20 minutes, we are going to go to a Album of the Year user, Lil Chili, with their final project. Let's get it. Welcome back, Sickbeat. I hope the back rooms didn't scare you off too much. Going right back to Minecraft Volume Alpha. I may have said this before on my first listen, but I like the reversing kind of instruments in the background. Oh yeah, here's the peak. Here's the peaks. I was gonna say, up to this point, it was feeling rather serene and peaceful yet again, but given the title Malicious, I know some of that discontent was coming through inevitably. And we've fallen into the void. Yeah, I took a note of that too. I mentioned falling into a void, but I like the way it slowly kind of builds itself back up, and then you just kind of get thumped over the head again, and you drop right down again, and then it brings you right back up again. And now we're getting like a slowdown right at the end of the track too. Yeah, really good song. Feeling like a strong 7 on that one. Strong 7 to an 8. I really like the sense of progression on that track. And then this one I remember. I 100% remember this song. I had a feeling my volume wasn't turned up. Hopefully I didn't just blow anyone's ears out there by cranking it, but it feels guilty not to have it turned up. This kind of feels similar to on Volume Alpha while we were in 13. Feels like we're dwelling through the caves right now. Proceeding our way towards an ancient city. Spacey vibe there. Text here. Oh, a phone. Phone's not important. Those nice little, like, jazzy keys were a nice inclusion. I gotta stop using jazzy as an adjective as often, but I liked the key inclusion one way or the other. It's been a while since I've heard this mixing for Discordant, and I don't know, since this is titled Final Mix, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Damn, right? Damn, right? I was not expecting that. It's honestly been so long since I've heard this track from CNR that I don't remember if that was in the original mix or not. But this song feels much more expansive than I remember it the last time. I mean, it really came in with all things blaring there at the end, and it was very welcomed. I think the one thing I will say at this point is, and this is a nitpick, this is like me being very nitpicky just for the sake of throwing in some constructive criticism, which is the only thing that really is missing for me is transitioning these tracks into each other. And it could just be SoundCloud not being able to do like overlap transitions or something like that, but if these songs just simply flowed into each other with some sort of transition, I think that would really tie everything together nicely. But I do remember Ominous from before. I don't know if Dead Hall is going to be a new addition to the track, though. I feel so bad for Joe Mama. He got his request in real early, but there was a lot of other people who got their request in early too. But I promise you, after we finish this, we're still going for the little chili. We're running the long run today. From memory, Ominous has been cleaned up quite significantly. Going off my previous notes for this song, I called it Super Cold and Distant. Super cold and distant, which is certainly still the case, but something about it just feels more spaced out. Nice staccato on the strings. I think we're about to get to the transitional point to Dead Hall. Curious to see what that adds to this track. I think those are keys in the background. I like how slidey they feel. panning is also still very good, going from ear to ear on each keystroke. I don't know if anyone's ever played the Stanley Parable. Oh wait, not the Stanley Parable. Shit, what's the other game called? That's what it is. Okay. I got my exact take on this song. You're good, Sick Beat? So in the last kind of segment of the song, shit. There is... Okay, I'm just gonna let the song finish. Nice. Okay, so final note again. The mixing and just everything about this feels like a much more complete experience than I remember on my first time listening to Ominous. And on that same note, there's a game called The Beginner's Guide, which is, without spoiling it, a progressive narrative experience by the creator of the Stanley Parable, but there is a point in the game where you get locked in a jail cell, and you are intended to stay there for a full hour, I believe. However, you don't have to do that. The game makes it so that you can skip that part. However, this song is very reflective on what that moment feels like in the game. If you were to actually sit there for an hour, it is very cold, it is very empty, but it is also very disruptive in the way that it kind of warps your own thoughts. And I feel like the ending of this last track was a good reflection of that, because it felt very disruptive, but with purpose. So again, you advanced on the original version of Ominous, and that's all I could really ask for. I don't think everyone will have the patience to sit through music like this, but I'm really enjoying it, and I think your little hashtag here for weird being the genre for this music is on the money. Oh, almost dropped my granola bar. I need a sand soundbite. If my face looks at all defeated, just know that it is not reflective of dislike for the music. I actually think this is kind of the purpose of this track, and I could be off base. I'm gonna pause it just because it seems to be transitioning a bit, but the first half of this song feels like a all-consuming machine is chasing after you, and it is a very crushing experience. So I think you're getting the reaction out of me that probably is desired. I feel discomforted to a certain degree, especially in how you're warping all these instruments around me. Wow. Nice. Very nice. I'm gonna say this now just in case you're not here right now, CNR, but you happen to go back to the VOD by any chance. If you want, I will upload this reaction as a video, but if you don't want me to, if you're still working on this, I will not do it. You know, typical policy with me. But if you happen to be catching me saying this, just make a comment on the VOD saying, yeah, I'd love for you to upload it, or I would prefer if you just keep it down for now, and I will do exactly that. So far, this is my favorite song off the project yet. I hope you can't hear my humming, but it feels very fitting to the track. Another nice little slow connecting section. I like the softer strings. It gives you a brief moment to collect your sanity, put the pieces back together in your brain. And I could expect that possibly after this we're gonna get a heavy drop on the next two songs again, but I could be wrong. Nice. Again, another like 7. It's all bouncing between like low 7s, high 7s. But I think that's good enough for this being your first work and you consistently ever evolving it. I think you're right where you need to be. And as I'm sitting here looking at your play counts, it looks like somebody was over here playing Pale Sheet. That isn't just me. I think you might have some new listeners, CNR. song reflects the emotionally draining this experience can be. Yeah, so before we get into this last track here, Clamp Cemetery, I will say up to this point, this has been a very sparse, cold, and hollow experience, but don't let that come off as me saying that as a negative. I think it is all by design, and this is a very emotionally draining experience. It sends you down into the absolute void, and it doesn't exactly give you much to grip onto. It the sounds are kind of bouncing off the walls around you and you're just kind of stuck in the middle of it, but there's nothing to really pull you out of this all-consuming experience of a listen. With that being said, we got one track left. Let's get into Clamp Cemetery. Yeah, this might be a moment to say that my piece here while we're in a little bit of a lower sound wave area. Generally, I'm really liking these disruptive moments. They are probably my favorite moments on this project, as everything else feels like it is just kind of lulling you around. But when these disruptive moments come in, it really feels like your sanity is catching up to you, or maybe the lack of sanity. Nice, and that's really, really good ending. Really good ending to the project there. So far, I'm like, if I just looking at my scores, I'm feeling somewhere like probably around a 75 on this project. I really like what you did with it. Feels much more developed than the initial like collection of tracks I heard, whether it was the one, two, three, however many tracks you had sent me in some of the past streams. Especially looking at moments like the discordant final mix, the ominous slash dead hall, it feels like everything there has been advanced to a certain degree. And my favorite element from this project is again the disruptive moments, because it feels like everything is finally catching up to you. I guess my final note on this thing is that it feels like if you took all those sparse and empty moments from like I didn't mean to haunt you and just boil them down to a liquid concentrate, that would be kind of what you're getting with this project. And knowing that that is one of your bigger inspirations, I think you did it in a way that, again, it doesn't feel like a ripoff or anything. It feels very unique to you. I think there is still more you could do to, you know, add some depth into some of these songs. But as a starting off point, this is a really great place to start. And you know, I think you have a good sense of what sounds fit a track and what sounds don't belong on a track. And you picked a lot of sounds that fit this aesthetic. Nothing here felt off place. It just felt disruptive, which again is a good thing. So generally, I'm glad you pushed me to listen to this again, CNR. I hope you were around to see some of my thoughts on it. If not, again, the VOD will be up. You can definitely catch it